Hello, my name is Stephen Hunnicut, and I published a book on Oregon's covered bridges. It's called A Bridge with a House, Oregon's Covered Bridges. It is the only book that has all of Oregon covered bridges, all in 8x10 color. It provides a brief description of each, and it has directions to all of them. It talks about Oregon covered bridges, but also provides information on covered bridges in general. Covered bridges were built by people, were built by towns, were built by companies, they were built by the state. They were used in lumber in order to get across creeks and streams in order to get to the lumber. They were used to get wildlife, cattle, across rivers. Once they put the cover over these covered bridges, it wasn't just for traffic or anything else like that. Political meetings they used them for. A rainy day lunch they used them for. Church socials, church meetings, sermons, because it was undercover and you can get a lot of people in there. They even said the covered bridges were used for kissing. The young people could have a place where they can go kiss and not be seen by anybody. So these bridges were used for anything you want to use them for. They were used by the tramps. They used to sleep in them at night. They offered so much to everybody. Originally, the covered bridges were named for a stream that they crossed. But over time, the names changed. People put names to them, maybe an individual or a family or a town. You got the West Fir covered bridge. It's called the Office Bridge. It's the longest covered bridge in the state of Oregon. It's no longer in use, but it was built by a lumber company. You have the Good Pasture Island, Good Pasture covered bridge up off of 126. It's the second longest covered bridge in the state of Oregon and the most photographed covered bridge in the state of Oregon, and is still being used. In my book, you have the stream and you have the name and what have you on them. I stop and think sometimes, why did I do this? What prompted this? And really what prompted this was my wife's aunt. She lives in Cottage Grove. So we decided to take a bunch of pictures. She's in Washington, been there for 40-some years. Take a bunch of pictures of Cottage Grove, our old high school, old house. And then I took these pictures of the covered bridges. And I found out Cottage Grove had 6. Lane County as a whole has 20. Linn County has 6. So what I did, it just, hey, told my wife, here's something we can do, day trips. And we literally did. We took it by county, and we did day trips. I took 150 pictures per covered bridge. I had 4 cameras. I had 2 35s, 2 digitals. So when you're out there and if you want to look at this book or if you see this book, someone's told you about it. You have found it in a store. The cover has caught your eye. You've picked it up, you've looked at it, you think it's great, and all of a sudden you're going, $40. This is different. This is unique. A lot of work put into this. This is 9 years of working. There is no other book out there that you're going to find on Oregon covered bridges that has them all. My book is not going to bore you to death. Books out there on Oregon covered bridges look like a paperback book. They have black and white pictures, maybe 40, 50, 60 years old. They might have 3 or 4 of the covered bridges, but that's it. It's 3 books in one. It's a travel book. You're going to go find a covered bridge. You're going to look around and you say, hey, I didn't know there was a river here. I didn't know that we had this type of wildlife over here. This is neat. And you end up not focusing on the covered bridge. Now all of a sudden you're focusing on a river or a waterfall or something that you see in the area. In other words, my book is going to open your eyes to what is out there. And, it whets your appetite. If you're going to give it as a gift, it is going to sit out the whole time. You buy it yourself, it's going to sit out the whole time. It's not going to be put away. You're going to have people asking about it. I have had families buy it, and then their relatives come and take the book, and then they come back to me and they like to buy another copy because their relatives walked out. So here's a book selling roughly for $40 that provides you with all the information you need to go out and visit these bridges. This book is a travel Oregon book. When you visit our covered bridges, you're going to see Oregon the way it should be seen.